everyone, Crafty Stella is here, and I want to do a coloring video for you all. I don't have the Copic, but I using my blending chalk that I purchased from Walmart right here, and I want to show you how I do my blending and shading just using this, and it turns out to be a beautiful color. And I'm going to show you one of my gorgeous girl image that I did already with the blending chalk, and this is her, and I think the coloring turned out beautiful, just beautiful. And I'm finna do a start to finish video of how I did this coloring, the same exact effect that I use for this coloring. So I'm gonna start the video. Okay, here is the same image, and I'm going to cut one on I stamped it with my Tuxedo Memento Tuxedo black ink. And this is the image that I'm going to use. And I also use these chitin tipped like Q-tips. I use these for my blending, and this is the chalk that I use. So I'm gonna get started. I'm trying to get it in frame. So the first color I'm going to use, I'm trying to get the color in frame, and this is the light, because I'm getting like the brown skin tone, and I got about 4 Q-tip that I'm going to use. So I'm going to start with the brown skin tone, and I use this color first, this color right here, this lighter color. So I just rub my Q-tip on there like so. And I'm going to start blending her in the color like so. And I use the bigger end when it's a bigger detail part. I use the bigger end. So and now I'm gonna do the neck, the body part of this image. Then I'm gonna use this end here, the little tipped it, and I'm doing her arm because it's a more slimmer figure, so I'm gonna use that part to do her arms. And these blending chalk have all colors, and I think it's like 24 colors in the whole palette, and it's just not just, you can get many different skin tone with these blending chalk. Okay, now I'm gonna use the same one that I use right here, but I'm gonna use this dark color to get my shading. So I'm gonna show you how I do my shading. Now I'm finna start my shading by coming out on her on this side. That's how I get my shading. And I love the way you do a good shading also. And I will blend that out. Love the shading part. And I'm going to use this end also for to get the shading on my arms, because it's like that area is really small. Excuse my arm if I'm in the frame. Sorry about that. I'm gonna do the shading, outside shading of her arm. Okay. Do that one. Now, I'm going to take just a clean Q-tip now to start my blending. The shading that I did, to kind of fade it out a little bit, lighten it up in the area that it needs. So, okay. Okay, here is her skin color. So for her dress, I use the blue, and this is the blue that I use. It's like a teal blue. And so another one of these, I just take it and go across like that there. So I use this big end for to get my bigger area done, blending. So I use that to get my bigger area done. And I just go right back over it when I do shade in different spots. And sometimes if I go out the line, I will use just a clean cotton swab just to correct that, like this. I just correct that by pushing it back. So I'm using a clean one to lighten this up some. And I go back over it with my dark shades. I just want to lighten this color up so I can start my shading. And if you would look, I love the way the chalk react, because it's start doing shading and spots on its own, and I like this, like using this. So just removing most of it. Now I'm going to take this in here to start my shading right there. So I'm going to come out like that, like so. Start my shading. Okay. And go around that way and around the hair. Use this. And I just give a little shading, just in different random spots where my shadow would be. So, starting my shading of it. So I also get this in and blend my shading out. Just blend it out where I done did my shading on. So, shading of it. And then another color that I use is, I put the yellow down there, so I use this bright yellow here, and I use the small tip because the area is not that big, so I use the small tip of that. The area is not that big, so I use the small tip. Then I go right back over with the big tip to kind of shade it out some. Trying to stay in frame. Right there. Now I'm gonna do her stockings in that same blue and yellow, but I'm gonna start with the yellow for the outlining and go in like that. Just the little lines of it. Okay. Now I'm going to go in using the blue. So if you're interested in using a different coloring method, this blending chalk worked just fine. It worked great for me. So I love it. I love the way it blends, and I love the way it leaves the coloring intact. Started this like that, and I just go back over it and kind of wipe the color out until I get to use some more darker to blend it in. So just wiping it out. Okay, now I'm going to take some more dark and start blending it in, like underneath her dress, a darker shade like that, coming down. Right up in here, right up in here, right up in here. Now I'm going to like push those colors in to do a shade. Yep. Just a little bit, just a touch. I'm loving the way it's turning out. So now I'm going to do her boots, and I'm using the same brown. I'm using this big end right here and shading in her boots right there. I know I'm getting the star, but I'm going to use a clean part of a Q-tip and clear the star out so I can give it a different color that's on her boots. So that's what I'm using. Then I'm going to come back and blend it out. But I'm going to go ahead on and do the little swirl. Start shaping his color in with the same brush technique with the lighter color of this brown. So then I'm going to add some shade to this. Okay, and I'll take another clean end of the Q-tip and I'll just mash this color out so I can start adding my shade in there, and also to the swirl also when it's dark, throwing some shading in for him also. So I'm going to use this little sharp pointed end. Love these Q-tips, love the way they work. And I'm going to take the darker color of this. It's the darker color right here, and I'm going to start my shading like that, like so. And I'm going to start the shading on my swirl also with the dark color. Going down his back closer to his tail, giving him a shade up in there and amongst his ears. Then give him another shade in the back part of his tail and going around up in there. See? Coming out real pretty. So I just take this here and just blend it in. Take this in and just blend it right in. Right there. As I wipe some of it away, I'm just taking the blending and blending it. Okay. And again, clean end of the Q-tip, wipe away any outside that I got. Now, the part that the star, I'm going to give it a yellow pinch right there and right there. And for the leaves, I'm going to use a green, and I love this shade of green right here, so I'm going to use this for the leaf. So I'm going to use the lighter shade first, and I'm using this tip part right here, and I just go to in circular motion, just working it in there, and I'm going to add another dark color green to just blend it. So, and I'm going to go ahead and do all the leaves while I'm with the green, and I'm just going to do all the leaves that I got in here. Now I'm going to come in with a darker shade of green to get my blending. So I'm going to follow the little stripes that's on the leaf and doing my shading. I can't put much shading in the little ones. I'm just touching it just a little. So, and I'm just going to tap it just a little because I don't want to knock all the colors out. Then I'm going to go back in with my brown and do the little coloring that's in there, random spots. So now I'm going to start with her hair, and I will be using the black shade right here that's in the blending chart, this right here. So try to keep my arm from being in the frame. So I picked up some black, and I always go in the crease of her part. I already start in there first. Then I'll go to picking up color right here by the hair bow, in just giving it real dark shades. I always start darker, then I'll go lighter. So that's the way. That's the way I start mine. So someone else may start theirs different, but that's the way I start mine. So I always go darker, then I get into the lighter shade. I'm trying to keep from getting into her hair bow because I'm got to paint it a different color. So okay. Now I'm using the same Q-tip and gonna pick up a little this gray right here, and this when I start my blending in light motion in the light color. I'm still wiping some of this too, but that's how I get my blending to do on my dark shade of hair. Come down here and go over in these area, and like my little small area, I'm gonna use the end of the Q-tip to get in between those lines, like the little hairline. So I'm take the little small area of the Q-tip right here, and I'll just start working with the hairline right up in here. Okay. Then I just go back over it in circular motion, blending it together, forming the color that I want. I think I'm liking this color of the hair. So there it is right there. So I'll just go back in her the parts of her hair, and I'll just go taking strokes, like stroking it like that. Then I stroke it on this side. That help do a lot of blending. Then I also do it down this way and that way. Then I take this part and just go back to blending it and shaping the colors up until I get it like I want it. See there? Now for her cheeks, I'm going to use this rose color for her cheeks here. Right here, this beautiful rose color, and I love this. I'm just rubbing my brush until I get a little for her cheeks. So I'm finna work with her cheeks here on the side, right there, and right up in there. And I'm gonna blend it out. I'm not gonna leave them this red. So I'm just gonna take the other part of this here and start blending it in, so it won't be so harsh. So add a little more, work that out. So now I'm gonna do her hair bows, and I'm gonna do it in the yellow, the same as the part of her dress. So do her hair bows in the yellow. I'm just loving my Gorgeous Girl stamps. I just love the way you can color them in the dresses and the blending and stuff. So here is the coloring that I did using my blending chalk. And if you see on the outside, I did some shadowing. So I'm going to show you how I did that. To make the shadows on the inside, I pick up some gray and some black, gray and black. I dip it in gray and black at the same time, but I just dot it. I don't just put it down real heavy right then and there. I just dot it, go around dotting it before I start blending. I just dot it all the way around her boots, then around her little friend here. You see how I just did all the little dots here? You can see, you probably can see. Now I take a regular clean Q-tip and I just go to like blending it, shading it in like that. And that's how I get my shades around her. So if you just want to just get some shaded around your image, you can do that also. So that's how I get my shades. And if you want it, if it's not enough shading around there, you can always just go in, just add some more dots. Just add some more dots, and I'll make them kind of deeper this time so y'all can see the shading, how great it turns out. So I'm making my dots a little more darker this time so I can show y'all my shading. So you just push the color down, push down on your Q-tip, and they'll make it blend right on in. So they're making the dot visible. Well, mostly. You still can kind of see the dot, but that's where you do your shading. So that's how I get my shading. So this is how I color one of my Gorgeous Girl stamp image using my blending chalk, and it's 28 color that comes in the pack, and I got it from Walmart. And I have one last thing to add. I always add some little dots on her cheek here, so I'm going to add some little dots on her cheeks. So I'm just going to add 2 little dots on her cheeks right there with my fine tip pen here. So I have added the 2 little white dots on her chin. You can see right there. So here's my coloring, and I hope everyone enjoyed the video. And just like I said, these chalk have many more other different skin tone, so, and it works great. So thanks for watching my video. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will be coming back with more video. Bye bye.